Hello friends, in this video we will try to discuss one of the important Scala concept called list and list buffer, and we will try to see how to use the list buffer in the Scala. So what is, first of all, we will try to have a small glance called list and list buffer. So a list is an immutable data structure which can contain duplicates and maintains the order of its elements. And whereas in a list buffer is a mutable implementation of a list. So when the different comes, we will try to see into practical. Right now we are in IntelliJ IDE. Let's try to create a simple object. Let's say list buffer. So what is list? A list is an immutable data structure which can contain duplicates and maintains the order of its elements, like whereas in list buffer. So what is list? A list buffer is the mutable implementation of a list. Okay, so list is nothing but an immutable data structure which can contains duplicates and maintains the order of its elements, and list buffer is a mutable implementation of a list. Now a little more info about a list buffer. The list buffer object is convenient when we want to build a list from front to back. The list buffer object is convenient when we want to build a list from front to back. It supports prepend and append operations. Okay, and once we created our list, call the toList method to convert list buffer into a list. In order to convert list buffer into a list, once we create our list, then we will apply the toList method in order to convert list buffer to list. Now another important thing is, in order to use the list buffer, what we have to use, there is a Scala class called Scala dot collection dot mutable dot list buffer. So this is the class need to import in order to implement list buffer concept. So let's take some sample example. Let's say I am taking one variable called name, then instantiate the list buffer. Okay, and then need to keep it data type within square brackets. So what does it mean? We are creating empty buffer. So the meaning of this, we are instantiating new list buffer. Data type means it could be anything, like whether it is an integer or it could be a string. Okay, now we will try to implement in practical by taking whether string or integer. Okay, so first of all we will try to take string type, and then we will try to see what and all operations that we can able to implement on top of it, and then we will try to learn it. So okay, right now let's try to define the main method first. Main args, let's say array of string. So we have created the main method. Now let's take up name variable and then create the list buffer and say string. It will be a string type. Well, name equal to, let's run it here, list buffer of string. Okay, I did not import the list buffer. Let's import it. This is the main Scala dot collection dot say mutable dot list buffer. Okay, now the error is gone. Now let's take few elements into list buffer. So I am creating name plus equal to, let's say Krishna, and take one more, let's say Bala Krishna. Okay, I am taking it these three elements into the list buffer and storing it as under name. Let's try to have a sample output. So here it is, name. Okay, now let's try to run it. See, it is created list buffer with the elements of Bala Krishna and Balakrishna using this notation plus equal to. Okay, now let's try to take off this, and then we will try to append few more elements. Okay, in the fashion of sequence. Let's try to append a sequence of elements to the list buffer. Okay, how to add a sequence of elements? Let's take name plus include one more plus when you are adding a sequence of elements, and then type sequence seq, and then add what you want to add it. Let's say Rama, let's say Krishna, let's say Rama Krishna. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to add it. So I would like to display this. Print the list buffer and the immutable list. Okay, now say println list buffer, say name. Okay, so now what step we have taken? We are, let's take, well, okay, now we are trying to print the name and we are taking few more elements. Okay, in the sequence form we are appending to the existing list buffer. Let's try to run it now. Our expectation is Bala Krishna, Rama Krishna, Ram Krishna in the buffer list. We can able to see it. So this is how we can able to append the new sequence. Means it's a combination of elements. At one shot we can able to include it. Now I would like to insert a new element into a specific position. Okay, let's try to see how to insert the new element. Insert an element at a specific index position. Okay, now let's try to see how to do that. Now let's use name dot use insert method. Okay, directly you can use it. Now what I want to insert, for example, now I would like to insert in the second index position. I would like to include BK. I want to use the short form of Balakrishna as BK. Now let's run it. The second position we can able to see BK. Okay, now that's fine. I can able to see the insert statement, how it works. This is the using this notation we can able to include it. Now I don't want Balakrishna because I have taken the short form BK. How to delete it? Using, okay, remove an element at a specified index position. Now let's try to see how to remove it. Minus equal to is a notation in order to remove any specific. Apply directly which you want to remove it. Now let's try to print. See, Balakrishna is gone. Now only BK is the short form which I need it. Okay, till now it is fine. I can able to add the sequence of elements, and I can able to add the initial elements, sequence of elements, and then I can able to insert the specific value in specific index, and then I can able to remove it, and then I can able to print it. Okay, now we have seen how to remove. Now I would like to update. I want to update a specific element. How to update it? We'll try to see that now. Update an element at a specific index. Okay, how to update it? Directly in its update method. Okay, now I would like to update Krishna as Krishna. I don't want Krishna, I want that has to be updated as Krish. Okay, that is available under first position. Specify quotes. Now let's run it and see. See, Krishna is converted to updated as Krish. Okay, okay, now we are good. Now I would like to convert the list buffer into list. Okay, how to convert list buffer into list? We'll see. Convert the list buffer to an immutable list. How to convert it? Let's say val list equal to name dot. So right now the name is holds the list buffer. Name dot to list as discussed at the top. Right? We are using the to list converting method. We are using the to list method. So in order to convert to the back to list, we are going to use the to list buffer dot to list. So that converts it into list. Now let's try to print it. List into the list. Now let's try to run it and see. We can able to see and one other line called list. So all the elements which are part of list buffer is converted to list, and then it's printing it. Okay, so here is the important points for the list as well as list buffer, which we can have, which we are supposed to recall. And then here is the syntax, and then here is the example which we have taken for the string. Now, okay, we have seen whatever we have seen here. We have taken the elements we have taken, and then initially, and then after that I have taken a sequence of elements, and by using the plus plus equal to notation. And then we have seen how to insert, and then how to remove it, how to update it, and then how to convert list buffer to list, and then we are printing it. Okay, we are good, we have seen. So for the string, now we would like to see for the integer data type how it acts. Okay, now let's take out, so string wala just we take it off this. Now let's take list buffer. In that I would like to take the list buffer of integer. Okay, now we are adding the, let's try to add the add elements to the list buffer. Okay, now let's take list buffer, list buffer, list buffer. Okay, so take it 10, let's take it 20, let's take it 30. Okay, so for the list buffer which we are taking the integer elements, so list buffer 10, 20, 30. Okay, now let's apply the same thing here, and you take it 40, 50, 60. So triple dot list buffer, what change we can expect here? List buffer plus equal to 1. Okay, let's take off this here. Cannot resolve symbol list buffer. Okay, then let's try to take the list. Taking an integer, then let's add list to buffer. Okay, so I am getting right. Two and three. Wrong forward reference. Okay, let's try to remove everything. Okay, take off this as well. Now we will append a sequence of elements. Append a sequence of elements in the list buffer. Okay, now let's take list buffer plus plus equal to sequence of, let's say 40, 50, 60. So now I would like to print and see. Print the list buffer and the immutable list. Okay, now we will try to print it this. Let's say println, let's take list buffer list b. Okay, now let's try to run this and see what this can hold. See, 10 20 30 and then 40 50 60 we can able to append a sequence of elements using plus plus equal to notation, as we have seen, like whereas in string form it's both are similar case. Now we have seen how to append it. Now we will see how to insert an element at a specific index. Okay, let's take list b. Okay, dot apply insert method. Now, so I would like to, for the first position I would like to change it. 20 is there, right? Now I would like to update it, insert as 50 in the first position. So 10 comma 50 comma 20 comma 30. Okay, now using insert method we can able to insert it. Now we would like to see how to remove an element. Remove an element from the list buffer. Now let's see how to remove it. Let's take list b. Okay, minus equal to which one I would like to remove. Let's try to take second 20 I would like to remove. Okay, now let's try to run and see. Now I don't want to see 20 because I removed that particular position. Now let's say how to update an element. Update an element at a specific index. How to update it? Let's say list b dot update. Now I would like to update let's say 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, let's say fifth position I would like to update as 90. Now let's try to see. 60 should convert it as 90. See, it is successfully updated. Now let's say I would like to convert list buffer to a list. Convert list buffer to list. We have seen how to convert. Let's say list equal to list b dot apply to list, that will convert it into list. Now let's try to print it. List, we are printing the list. Okay, now we will try to see another line called list. So the list buffer is converted into list now. Okay, so this is how we can able to apply for integer data. We have seen an earlier video for the string. Now we have applied for the integer. So the operation will be the same. We have seen the notation, like in order to add the sequence of elements, or inserting, for removing, for updating, for conversion, everything will be the similar case for both insert and for integer as well as a string. Okay, so this is belongs to integer type. Now we have seen for the both the string as well as the integer type. Now we would like to see for the same integer type another different approach. Now let's try to take off all this stuff. just remove it, and then let's try to take val, let's say list equal to, let's take a list of, okay, let's take few elements like say 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50. Okay, I have a taken list of elements. Now val list buffer equal to new list buffer of integer type. Okay, now I would like to iterate all the elements. Okay, I would, in the iterative fashion, I would like to append one, like 10 is 11, 20 is 1, so I would like to add, okay, for one for all the elements. Okay, how can I do that? By using the for loop. Let's say for x reverse bracket symbol, and for the list, and list buffer plus equal to x plus 1. So this operation, what it will does, it will try to print it, I mean it will try to apply 1 for all the elements, means 11, 21 for all the elements, it will add the 1 for all the elements, it includes 1, means it's print. Now let's try to see 11, 21, 31, 41 and 51. Now let's try to say if I want to include 10. Now let's try to see 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so here is a using loop mechanism. I am using the list buffer. I am going to increment the number, means right now initially I incremented all the elements using 1, and now it's a 10. Okay, so this is how we can able to do the increment part for all the elements in the iterative way. So that is the purpose of this particular demo. Okay, so that's all for today's, guys. We have seen what is list and what is list buffer, and what and all operations which we can able to perform. We have seen it into practical, and this is very important when it comes to the real time as well as interview perspective. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys really like it, please do subscribe it, like it, and please do share it, and please do the comment. Bye.